Welcome to this edition of AFMC.
I'll tell you how I got better. I'm
Glad to be here.
But a mission to
Delivery of
improve.
I think that we're going to talk about everybody's.
Arkansas is the second highest prescriber.
Welcome to AFMC TV. I'm Robin Ledbetter. Thank you for joining us. Today I have with me Kim Hooks, and she is the Arkansas State Board of Nursing Assistant Director for ArNAP. Kim, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So first up, tell us what ArNAP is. What does that stand for?
Okay, that is the Arkansas Nurse Alternative to Discipline Program, which I will refer to as ArNAP throughout the interview, which was legislatively created in 2017 to help nurses who were struggling with alcohol or drug abuse problems. It's designed to protect the public while we provide support and monitoring for the individuals, with the end goal of being a safe return to nursing practice.
And so it's a non-disciplinary monitoring program. What does that mean?
So if a nurse completes the program, which there's many requirements to it, successfully, then there is no discipline flag on their nursing license.
So that could do a lot of good for nurses to help them overcome a lot of things.
Yes, definitely.
So is the program voluntary?
It is voluntary. A nurse can voluntarily request to enter in ArNAP in lieu of disciplinary action if they meet the eligibility requirements. So that is that they hold an Arkansas license or they can be an applicant for licensure. They do have to admit that there is a drug or alcohol abuse problem or addiction. And if they meet that, then we also look at was there previous discipline for a substance use disorder or diversion, and they wouldn't be able to participate if they have been in another program similar to ArNAP, then they would not be eligible for ArNAP. If they have diverted medications for use other than self-administration, they're not eligible. And also if they have behaviors that resulted in patient harm. So those things would keep them from participating in ArNAP.
And there is an agreement and contract for participants. How does that work?
Okay. So the agreement, the initial thing, is where the nurse is actually agreeing. She signs a 2-page document. We go over some things, and she's actually agreeing to participate. Has to admit that drug or alcohol abuse problem, then placing her nursing license, his or her nursing license, on an inactive status for a temporary period, and then they agree to go for a addictive evaluation from one of our board-approved evaluators, and then they have to comply with those treatment recommendations. So that's the agreement phase. Once the evaluator completes the evaluation, the report is sent back to me. So I'm looking for a safe to practice statement. And then we go into the next phase, which is the contract. So for all of my meetings, I either meet with them in person or we do Zoom meetings. So the agreement meeting is that, and then the contract meeting, which is a longer meeting because we talk about a lot of things in the contract. It's usually like a 12 or 13 page document. So we talk about their requirements, daily check-ins, random drug screens. If that evaluator recommended treatment, we talk about treatment. If they recommended therapy or counseling, then that is written into their contract. Also, if there's support group meetings such as AA or NA. And then the big part of that too is we go over the employment restrictions. And so that we talk about things like, you're not able to work nights, and you're not able to work overtime. And there's certain areas that they're restricted from working in, such as ICU, ER, labor and delivery, just to name a few. So those are kind of some hurdles for nurses.
And you mentioned it's temporary. What does like a time window look like for something like this? Is it months? Is it years, days?
It could be weeks to months, depending on that evaluator and if they have deemed that nurse safe to practice, then I can go ahead and they can start looking for jobs and they can have an interview, but they technically can't go to work until I have a Zoom meeting with that potential employer, with the participant, and then the employer has to sign the document because they have to provide the supervision and worksite monitoring, and they also have to agree to complete quarterly performance evaluation reports.
So this is thoroughly vetted.
Very, very much so.
And if a nurse doesn't complete the contract, what happens?
So if they're discharged for non-compliance because they didn't meet some parts of the requirements, I will refer them to the board for disciplinary action. So that usually results in they may go for probation, which looks very similar to the ArNAP program, but there's fines on top of that, and it results in a flag on their license. They may ask for a board hearing to go before the full board, or some nurses will request to just voluntarily surrender their nursing license for at least a minimum of 1 year.
In most disciplinary actions taken by the board, are they permanent, like permanently reflected on that license?
All disciplinary actions taken by the board are permanently reflected on that license.
Is Arkansas the only state to have an alternative discipline program like this?
No, there's many states that do. More states do than not. And the National Council for State Boards of Nursing, you can look on their website and actually search by state to see what programs are available. Some are run through the Board of Nursing, and then others are run through third parties in collaboration with the Board of Nursing.
And there is a separate program for physicians, and we've had a lot of information about that on our program before. Does this program work with the Arkansas Medical Foundation at all?
So we don't work with them. We have our own. We run through the State Board of Nursing, but we do work with national, state, and local partners to help improve services and outcomes for our participants.
And what is the first step for a nurse to get connected to this program?
So the first step is they can self-report, if there is an issue, if they've had something as a DWI, they can self-report that to the board. We do get complaints from employers for failed drug screens or refusal of drug screens. A nurse can self-report that as well. And what happens is that comes in online through a self-reported complaint. Our director looks at those. And if that nurse is eligible for ArNAP, then she talks to her or him about the ArNAP program. And they can opt for ArNAP, or some turn it down and choose to go the other route.
And what is the cost? Does it cost anything to participate?
There's no cost at the board to enroll in the program, but there are costs involved. The evaluation is the upfront thing, and it costs money. If they are ordered to treatment, that's going to cost. If there's therapy or counseling. The big part is their random drug screens, which they'll be doing throughout the duration of their contract.
Well, Kim, thank you. Thanks for talking about this important program. What should the public do if nurses or physicians, the healthcare community, want to learn more? You have a website. We
do have a website, Arkansas State Board of Nursing, and on the side there is a little quick link for ArNAP. If you click on that, it goes directly to my contact information.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And that's it for this episode of AFMC TV. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.